Early reviews of The Witcher Season 2 have started to come in. Journalists have been given access to the first 6 of the episodes of the show to start giving feedback to the public. Overall, the general sentiment seems to be that people who liked the show before are going to continue to like this season, and even more so. I've read through various reviews, and most people seem to be saying that Henry Cavill's Geralt and Ciri seem to have very good on-screen chemistry. They're also saying that Kim Bodnia as Vesemir is one of the show stealers, and that he is fantastic, if not perfect, in the role. I've also seen a lot of reviews talking about how Triss Merigold is a much better done character in this season compared to how she was in Season 1. Anyway, I'm not going to go through every single little thing that I've read from every review, but what I do want to go over is this specific review that I read, because there was something in here, and I've seen it in a couple of reviews, and there's something in here that actually caught my attention, and it made me wonder what was going on a little bit. So I'm just going to quickly skim through this, and as I go along, and I'm going to give you some of my thoughts. Before we go any further, minor spoilers. I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything really big, but I am going to be making some direct comparisons or comments about stuff that happened in the books, and I'm also obviously talking about these reviews, so there might be minor spoilers for Season 2 of the show. While there are some changes from the books that will draw some attention, there are other moments that feel as though they step directly out of them to balance it out. That is both good and terrifying to hear. It's good to hear that, okay, there are definitely some moments from there that are straight out the books, and that's what I want to see. It's also quite scary to think that things have changed, but we knew things had changed. We knew that from Season 1, we knew that from reports of Season 2, from the trailers, from all the rest of it, so we do know that there are going to be changes, but as long as there is still some of that book stuff in there, then I'll be at least a little bit happy. 2 of the common criticisms of Season 1 revolved around the show's slow start and various jumps in time and story, and both have been addressed by the showrunner. The season kicks off with 2 stellar episodes back-to-back, including a pitch-perfect introduction of Nivellen. As for time jumps, they are just about completely gone. Any jump to the past is clearly displayed as a flashback. All good. I mean, I didn't have too much trouble with the time jumps in Season 1, but they were certainly a bit strange, and I didn't quite click on to a little bit after. I was like, wait, this doesn't make sense. How is this happening? The biggest complaint I'd have had about the time jumps is how everyone looks the same. Like, no one seemed to age at all, and that was a little bit strange and confusing. Down here it starts talking about Anna Schaefer's Triss, who isn't just a side character this season and feels like a more important character that fans know from books and games. Once she gets to Kaer Morhen, fans of the books are going to feel right at home. That's good to hear. Not fans of the books and games, fans of the books, so that's promising. They then go on to mention Fringilla, whose arc is one of the most surprising aspects of the season so far, and you know, that's kind of good to hear. From the trailers, I'm not entirely sure I like what's going on there, because it seems so out. It's like that the stuff we're seeing in the trailers, that doesn't happen in the books. The stuff we've seen from set leaks, that doesn't happen in the books. But it's good to see that there is some sort of arc here, because Fringilla was one of the worst, most butchered characters in Season 1. She just was not the way she should have been. She wasn't herself. And so to know that in Season 2 they are doing some sort of arc, and she is going to change as a character, and that's a surprising arc, that is good to hear, because it means maybe they're going some ways to try and redeem what they did with that character in Season 1. Lots of talk here about how good both Geralt and Ciri are, especially together. Right, and here we go. This is the part that I really wanted to talk about. So, in these first 4 episodes, we also don't get the reunion of Geralt and Jaskier just yet, which is disappointing. But I will say that his storyline is so far in the season compelling, as is the dynamic with his ally for most of his screen time. And so what surprises me about that, and what I wanted to talk about, is, so does that mean, judging by previous leaks that we've already seen, because we've seen, whether it's leaks or just even from trailers and little stills and stuff, we've seen that Jaskier is in Kaer Morhen at some point. And so if he's not reuniting with Geralt in the first 4, maybe even 5 episodes, because they're saying not until the 2 of them don't reunite in this part, does that mean then he is going to be in Kaer Morhen towards the tail end of the season? Because if that's the case, that's a little bit strange. Because in Blood of Elves, he's not there at all in the first place, so that's a separate thing entirely. But toward knowing what goes on in that book towards the end, when they're in Oxenfurt, and knowing that they end up there, it seems a bit strange to think that they would still be in Kaer Morhen in maybe episodes 5 and 6. And that, like, it seems a bit strange there. Like, what are they doing in Kaer Morhen for basically 4 episodes? I mean, I'm guessing episode 1 they're maybe doing the Nivellen thing, so maybe episode 2 they get to Kaer Morhen. I think the episode list, we've got every single episode name except the final one, and I think episode 2 is called Kaer Morhen. So, what, are they there for episode 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 4 straight episodes. Then 5 and 6. I mean, that's only a tiny part of the book, so I'm not really sure what they're doing there all that time. And especially if Jaskier ends up there. That's a bit strange, because in Blood of Elves, there's so much more that happens in that book. There's so much more in between the time when they start out in sort of Kaer Morhen towards the end in Oxenfurt. There's so much more time in between. And so it seems really strange to know that, okay, well, Geralt and Jaskier, they're not going to reunite till episode 5 or 6. Well, then you've only got a couple episodes left to go through the rest of this book. And we know that they do basically get to the end of the book because we have seen the fight with the... I'm forgetting the brothers' names. The Michelet brothers, is that it? We've seen it in the trailer. We know this happens in Oxenfurt. We know that Geralt has this fight and he chases after Ryan's, all the rest of it. So it's a bit strange to know going in that suddenly that's just going to happen in the last couple of episodes. I mean, obviously that would happen in the last couple of... But the point to get to there is going to happen very, very quickly. Because Jaskier, he's not going to be actually there and meet with Geralt in Kaer Morhen until episode 5 or 6. Which, as I keep saying, he doesn't actually do in the books in the first place. So it's really strange to try and work out how this is actually working. The only thing I can maybe think is this some sort of flashback, the scenes we've seen of him in Kaer Morhen? Is that what it is? I don't think it is. It seems a bit strange to have just a random flashback of him there. I mean, maybe it works. But currently, that's my biggest thing that I'm trying to work out. It's like, the way I'm almost seeing it is that they've taken the beginning of Blood of Elves, they've taken the end of Blood of Elves, and they've kind of maybe taken out the part in the middle. Like that's almost what's going through my head right now. Like, have they taken away this long session of travelling that they do with the dwarves? So have they just cut out all that section of them travelling? Or is that just going to be maybe one episode? Or have they put Jaskier into that whole thing as well? Like, I'm just trying to work out what they've maybe changed or what they've maybe done to make that work. Because from what I'm reading in these reviews, it does seem as though they've kind of taken out a lot of this and maybe replaced it with some more Kaer Morhen stuff. And maybe that's actually fine. Maybe it'll actually be good. I mean, people are saying that Vesemir is one of the stars of the show and that it's really, he's perfect in the role. So maybe that'll be fine. But it does seem a little bit strange, a little bit confusing to me. Anyway, I'm going to end this video here, but be sure to let me know what you're thinking about all of this and things I'm saying about reviews you've read, what you're kind of expecting from Season 2 of the show in those comments down below. And if you're interested in more videos about The Witcher or about other shows, other things, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like if you liked the video, and I'll see you all next time.